All right, y'all, let's clap it up. Shalom, Israel. This is an Israelite school in universal and practical knowledge. Started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. And we are led by the amazing Commanding General YAHANNA. Today is the Wednesday law class. Of course, I'm going to get into the law, but I want to get into a subject that's very vital to, raising our people and your zones or whatever the case may be, in the kingdom of Israel. And that's, the title of this class, I called it training, what I call it? Training something. It might say child training or childhood training. All right. So what that is reshaping how we were raised, and our children, because we was raised a certain way, according to grandma's doctrine or grandma's theology, and grandma followed the Christian church. You know what I'm saying? And whatever that old dusty Bible said was in Psalms, that's what she lived by. Love, 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 and that's it. So, but what we have to do is we have to train our children, at the start. We'll get into some scriptures on what it says and how vital that is, because just think about how we grew up and look how long it took for us. Look how long we grew up, with that doctrine, and how long it took for us to come in the truth. So we've wasted 20, 30, 40 plus years, living a lie, or operating in a livelihood that's not according to the Lord. All right. First scripture I want to bring out is Psalms 127, and we're going to start at verse 3. Give me 1 second. Yeah, Psalms 127, verse 3.
Khan, I don't want Khan. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 127, verse 3. Lo, children are an heritage of the Lord. Heritage of the Lord. Mm-hmm. And the fruit of the womb is his reward.
All right, it says, lo, the children are an heritage of the Lord. The Lord loves children. He calls Israel his children. Everything, like even when it says, when we start learning, we ought to become as babes. We'll get down to that scripture too. You know what I'm saying? So, because what do? Children learn from their parents. Children get everything that they, all the tools that they learn come from their parents. That they take from holding the bottle. Women, they'll prop the bottle. If they tired of holding the bottle for them, they'll prop it up, for them. And eventually, if that child hungry enough, he or she gonna begin to try to keep that bottle in place, right, until he gets strength enough to hold that bottle on his own, and sit back and go to sleep.
Yeah.
Even with Santa Claus. Children don't know nothing about Santa Claus when they 2, 3 years old. The parents teach it to them, so they grow up believing in Santa Claus. You've been in an apartment 20, 30 years of your life, and you've been telling your kids that Santa Claus been coming through a chimney. The apartment complex don't even got no chimney. They barely got an air conditioning unit in some of them. You know what I'm saying? So, and it says, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. Read verse 4 for me. Salaki, my bad. Oh, it's the mic's over there. Who says if you want to like add or whatever? Because this class might be right up your alley.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 127, verse 4. As arrows are in the hand of a mighty man, so are children of the youth.
As arrows are in the hand of a mighty man, when a mighty man or a warrior has a lot of arrows, that's that's a good thing. You can conquer a lot of things with a lot of arrows. Right. You can conquer a lot of things with a lot of kids. All right. I know like some of these big families in these black neighborhoods, like in my neighborhood, I'm from the north side. We had the Cunninghams, they had big families. The Hawkins, big families. The Taylors, big families. All the teachers know they know the daddy all the way down to the grandchild. Because the families are big. And sometimes, you go to school with enough of them, you fight little John, you got to fight Tay Tay, Riri, you got to fight by 6 more family members. You know what I'm saying? For messing with that one little one that's in the 3rd grade. And now you got to fight the high school seniors, the juniors, the middle schoolers, and everybody. All right, keep going. Now we can drop that. Give me Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 7.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6, verse 7. And thou shalt teach.
Start at 6.
Verse 6. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart. Mm-hmm. Verse 7. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children.
All right, so the Lord is saying, these things that I'm commanding you today, you should teach them diligently unto thy children. Anybody know what diligently means?
Like faithfully.
Like faithfully, like with all, with 10 toes down, with all your heart, like constantly, persistent, staying on their row. You should teach these to those children. Keep going.
And shall talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou layest down, and when thou risest up.
And shall talk of them when thou sittest in thine house. When y'all sitting around the house, just talk to your children about the Lord, about the rules of the Lord. I mean, you ain't just got to sit there, and drill them, but just talk to them, When you correcting them on something, every time you correct the child, it's most likely a scripture that backs up what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? So, just talk about the commandments of the Most High. So at an early age, you drilling into them. All right? And it says, and when thou walkest by the way, when y'all walking by the way, wherever y'all going, you showing them different things. You know how you teach your child to hold your hand when you crossing the street?
Right.
You teach your children when you hold your hand when you crossing the street, and then you also teach something about the Bible, about the Lord, on how to conduct themselves in the streets. Because if you don't teach them how to conduct themselves in the streets, when they not with you in the streets, what's going to happen? The streets going to deal with them. It might be they might be talking disrespectful to somebody at a store or anything. And then, that store manager or whatever, might do something, lock them in the store and beat them up. And then they going to lie and say, oh, they was trying to shoplift or they were trying to do this. I saw a video the other day, where the little girl came in there, and bought something out the store. And I guess the clerk, tried to cheat him out the money. Of course, she went off. The little kid went out, I'll blow this thing up, she the little girl. Well, she talking to a grown man, what I'm saying, that's not Israel. Right. Luckily, what I'm saying, there's video cameras going around, but if it wasn't no video cameras going around, I.S.U.P.K or whatever race he was, could have took her in the back, slit her throat, and tossed her in the dumpster somewhere.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And it says, when thou liest down and thou rises up, you know, teach your children how to pray.
Right.
When they laying down, you tell them you teach them how to pray. When they get up, you teach them how to pray to get their day going. You teaching them how to fight demons at a very early age, and how to secure their soul and secure their happiness. Because, you know, kids deal with a lot too. Just like you, when you get up and you go to work, all the stuff that you driving to work thinking about, like, oh Lord, I'm gonna have to deal with this, deal with that. I know she didn't do this, so I'm gonna have to do it. And I'm tired of him, you know, coming down thinking he run everything and own everything. They do the same thing. Oh man, I don't want to go to school. And I gotta sit next to this dude and this boy, and he always picking on me, pulling my hair, throwing gum in my hair. You know, she always talking about me because my hair always look good, hers don't. You know, they deal with stuff too. And sometimes that's why some children, you know, don't excel in school sometimes, because they're dealing with stuff like that. So that's why when they wake up in the morning, you got to give them affirmations. You got to teach them how to deal with things. You know, because sometimes they're not going to tell you everything all the time. So you got to teach them without them even knowing what you're training them to do. All right? Drop that and go to Ephesians chapter 6, verse 4. And
Verse 4.
Yeah, Ephesians chapter 6, verse 4.
This is the book of Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 4. And ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nature and admonition of the Lord.
Right. So, Shalom on Christ. You want to take the class over? Sir? I just got to offer the class to you, sir. All right, so it says, and ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrath. Don't be a oppressor to your child to where you push them to act out and take their behavior out on other people.
Right.
All right, don't make them grow up to hate you. You know what I'm saying? I've talked to a lot of my classmates in high school, and you know they always say that, you know, I don't want to, you know, raise my child how I was raised. So, you know, we got whooped. Some of us got beat, and some of us got beat for no reason because of the stress and the pain of our parents. You know, your mom and daddy had hard days at work. They dealing with the oppressor. They dealing with the outside world, you know, and they dealing with each other. They fighting with each other, and they take it out on the kids. And you get punished for, you know, the rigors of your parents' life. And for a kid, you know, you wonder, like, why am I getting in trouble all the time? Why am I getting beat for something I didn't do?
Right.
You know, so, you know, a lot of my you know, old classmates, I never, you know, raise my child the way I was raised. You know, I don't want to whoop my child. I don't want to discipline my child. You know, and to a point that might be cool, but then it's a danger also. And we definitely going to get into that. Yeah. Because if you don't discipline or correct your child, then what your child becomes? Your best friend. And your best friend has opinions. And your best friend, y'all have arguments. And your best friend don't have to listen to you because y'all best friends. And that becomes your child. And that's what happens a lot of times in a single parent home. You know what I'm saying? When mama got to play daddy too, you know, you can't play nurturer and corrector in the same body. Right. Especially when you raising boys. You know, you try to be this nurturer, oh, my sweet, handsome young man, and, you know, my lover this, lover that. And then you try to, hey, Don't do this, don't do that, or I'm gonna whoop your butt. Yeah, it works to a certain age. But then what happens after that? When he get older and he gets stronger, he gonna buck the system.
Right.
I did. I stepped to my mama. Yeah, mama, I ain't gonna listen to you. Something happened. I even stepped to my daddy was 6'4", 3 something, defensive tackle. Yeah, Dad, I ain't. I'm in high school. I'm smelling myself. I'm at the peak of my shape. Yeah, Dad, I ain't stand for that either. And I got quickly humbled. But when you're in a single parent home and your child been your best friend for the longest, and when he buck back, he's gonna scare you. It's gonna be scary to where you ain't gonna want to tell him nothing else no more. Now he runs the house. So it's kind of a danger when you don't want to raise your children like how you were raised. Don't necessarily mean that you have to beat them for everything that they've done. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking about, like, oh, you had a bad day at work and you just come home and whoop on your kid. All right? Some people are going to beg to differ. All right? Right. And we're going to get to that, sir. Where we at? Ephesians 6:4? All right. It says, but bring them up in nurture and admonition of the Lord. So, yeah, correction, but build them up. Let them know who they are as a person. Let them know why you're doing it. Let them understand that I don't want you to become a victim of the Lord. Not of the streets, but of the Lord. Because, of course, when you're doing wrong in the streets, the law is going to get you. Right. But when you start transgressing the Lord's law, like it's 10 times worse than what the law is going to do. Right. The laws, they'll lock you up in a little bit and mess your name up where you can't get a good job no more. That's hard. You know what I'm saying? You can't get a good job because your name all tarnished and messed up. But what about when the law gets to you? You ain't got no job. You ain't got no good name. You're falling sick here and there. You're back with the law. He gonna raise you up. Oh yeah, I'm good now. You can give you a little crumb, then snatch it right back from you. Right. Like you'll never. He'll let you see the top of the water, and drag you right back down. Yeah. Just get you another good breath, and he's dragging you back down in the water. All right. Drop that and give me Proverbs 29:12. Nope, Salakia. Now give me Proverbs 22. Now this is a famous scripture that everybody should know. Proverbs chapter 22, verse 6.
This is the book of Proverbs chapter 22, verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it.
Train up a child in the way he should go. Like I say, we all been trained up to love white Jesus and wooden crosses and Santa Claus and birthdays and pork chop sandwiches. Right. And for me, it was 38 years till I broke out of that sickness. Because I was trained up in a false doctrine of Christianity, like we all were, or most of us. So when it says train up a child in the way that she go, in the way he should go, you know what I'm saying? Because when they get older, they're going to do the same practices that they did when they were brought up. Thank the Most High for saving me out that water, and us too. Mm-hmm. All right. So that's what we want to do. We want to train up our child. It didn't say train up our best friends or our brothers and sisters. It says train up a child. So when do we start training? From birth. We started off training that child how to hold that bottle Now you start, yeah, feeding them right. Now you training up this child in the correct discipline of the Most High. Go ahead, sir.
I know. Check. I know this is probably gonna sound extremely wild to say, but you know you got to train them up like dogs. Cause like with dogs, if you don't if you don't have them,
turn it up a little bit.
Oh, you talking about right here?
Come.
It's the it's the first speaker, brother. No, on the monitor, the first knob. Like if you don't catch, like if you training up a puppy, right? If you don't break them in their habits young, they gonna run all over your house.
Right.
They gonna defecate, piss all over your house. You know, they gonna tear up all over your house. Right? So it's the same thing with a child. Any type of young being, you have to break their habits. Their classical condition really has to be hardwired by the time that they're 5 years old.
Right. That
fear of God and fear of consequences and repercussions really has to be established within those first 5 years. Right? Because their life is in waves of 5. So from 1 to 5, you know, they, cuddly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 5 to 10, you know, they become very talkative.
Mm-hmm.
Right? 10 to 15 is when the attitude sets in. And then 15 to 20 is over with.
Right.
You know, you really don't have that much time to correct your children and to prepare them for life.
Right.
You know, so you just said it, you know, here previously, you know, you don't want your child to be raised the way you was raised, but the reason why you act and carry yourself the way you act and carry yourself is because of the way that you were raised.
Right.
So not disciplining your children the way that you were disciplined because you thought your parents were too tough, you understand? It's a detriment to your children, right? Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, what you were saying is heavy, sir. Because just like how you potty train your children, you know, when you want them to stop, when you tired of buying diapers, you sit them on that pot. And you sit them on that pot. I don't care if they don't have to use the restroom for an hour. You make them sit on that pot till they learn to where, oh, when I use the restroom, I can get off this pot. That's the same way that we have to treat the discipline of training our child, you know, in the rigors of this world, you know, to fear the Lord. All right. And it says, when he is old, he will not depart from it. So again, you know, if you training up your child right, you know, they won't depart from the Lord, you know, to where, you know, they're damaging their soul. All right. Let me drop that and get Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 1. Got it? Yeah, Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 1. Grab the other one. I mean, if it's not working right out.
Salaki. This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 1. Now these are the commandments, the statutes, and the judgments which the Lord your God commanded to teach you that ye may do them in the land whither ye go to possess it.
Okay, keep going.
Verse 2, that thou mightest fear the Lord thy God, to keep all his statutes and his commandments, which I command thee, thou and thy son and thy son's son, all the days of thy life, and that thy days may be prolonged.
All right, so it says that thou may fearest the Lord, that mightest fear the Lord thy God. You know, most adults that say they love the Lord, you know, they fear the Lord to where they kind of, you know, do some of the law. You know, most Christians, they don't kill people. They don't do this, they don't do that. You know, so they have some type of cognizance of, you know, obeying a higher power. So when it comes to children, you know, that's what you want to do at an early age. You want to instill, because that's what you do when you raise your child. You instill fear in them so they can, you know, obey and respect you. So now you teach them the same way to obey and respect the Lord. All right. So it says, when you do that, you know, you teach your sons, and when you teach your sons, you know, they're going to teach their sons, and their sons are going to teach their sons. So now you're developing a generational generational line of fearing the Lord, of keeping the law, statutes, and commandments.
Right.
But like we said, you know, you train up a child in the way that she go, in the way that he should go. All right. So when he get old, he won't depart from it. So when he don't depart from it, now he's teaching his sons and his children the same thing that his father taught him, and his grandchildren are going to learn the same thing. All right. Drop to verse 2. No, we did. I'm sorry, Salaki. And that thy days may be prolonged. You know, when you serve the Lord and you do all His commandments, you know, your days are prolonged. You live a good, decent life. You don't die early. You don't die very young like that. You know, I always say, like, you know, when older people die, like, you know, of course, you know, you're gonna be sad, you're gonna cry a little bit, you know, but sometimes, well, me personally, you know, I'm at peace with somebody that passed away with they 90 years old versus somebody that's 17, versus somebody that's 17, you know, or even 25. But, you know, when somebody, you know, lived their life, you know, to the fullest, and now that you're old, I mean, you don't live out your good days. But when you die young, you haven't even fulfilled your life yet.
Right.
All right. Drop that and give me Proverbs 29 verse 12. So I mean, like I say, it's very vital that you learn to, you know, raise your children in the way of the Lord, because it it's like not only do you know that you prove that you're an awesome parent, you know what I'm saying, now that you're raising a nation that the Lord is pleased with.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like we can't have the kingdom of heaven with children that don't know nothing about obeying the Lord or fearing the Lord. Because if you raising your child without the fear of you, then they fear or respect nobody else. Like when your child goes out into the world, or you know, like when they at school and you see these people like cussing and they're using profanity, cussing out teachers and disrespecting teachers, and then you sit that kid down and be like, why are you disrespecting teachers? Why are you doing all this, saying all this profane language? And then they be like, my mama let me do it at home. My mama let me get away with it at home. So why should I listen to you? You know, so now that creates a whole new monster. Now they don't respect police. Now they don't respect consequence. Now they brag about, bodies and they raps. Now they brag about robbing people and taking their chain and their money on Instagram. I mean, on social media. Salaki. All right. Proverbs 29:12.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 29, verse 12. If a ruler hearken to lies, all his servants are wicked.
Why are all the servants wicked? Say it again, sis. You said it in the mic.
Because he hearkened to
You say, I asked, why are the servants wicked? Because the servants listen to the ruler, right? So children follow parents. So if you hearkening unto these lies, guess what your children gonna do? The same thing. You believe Santa Claus so much to where you taught your children to believe in Santa Claus. You believe in birthdays so much to where you having 3-year-old birthday parties, and the birthday party is really geared around the adults. A 3-year-old don't care about 3-year-old don't care about no birthday or celebrating the birthday. They don't even know they 3 years old. All they see is this cake and whatever the Paw Patrol character. That's all they see. Cake and Paw Patrol. That's all they see. That's all they want. Now the other part of the party, all of those singing and happy, they don't care. The party is for the adults, and you can see that on some of these videos, to where they got it's a female cartoon character that, like, yeah, Gracie. I even seen somebody dress up as Minnie Mouse, and they out there twerking. They having a twerk contest with the children in the front yard in costume. So if the ruler hearken into lies, all his servants are wicked. So if grandma, she put salt pork in everything. Guess what you gonna grow up doing? Putting salt pork in everything. It make it taste better. That's soul food. And it's a shame that, we grew up eating the scraps of this animal and these other foods, and we make it a delicacy now. All right? Because we've hearkened unto lies. We've been taught by, our oppressor that, lobster is a delicacy. Now black people, we throw the biggest crawfish balls and stuff now. We throw the biggest Mardi Gras parties and all that stuff, with our, the shrimp ball parties and stuff. All because we hearken unto the lies of the rulers that we follow, whether it be, our oppressor or our parents. Because our parents are following the oppressor. Down to 15.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 29, verse 15. The rod and reproof give wisdom.
All right, what is the rod and reproof? Anybody know what the rod and reproof is? Go ahead.
Like discipline.
Okay, discipline. Which one is that? Is that the reproof or is that the rod?
The rod is discipline. And the reproof is like the what you call it? what you get from like the result?
Now the reproof is actually the correction.
Right.
Right. No, the rod is the actual tool, like a belt or something on your hands. You know, a shoe or a coat hand. You know, uh, you know, we've been uh, uh, you know, you know, got a couple whoopings for it. I kept doing it. You know, when it says the rod and reproof give wisdom, it's supposed to give you wisdom to never do that again. It's supposed to correct you from that behavior that you did. So when it comes to your children, don't be afraid to, you know, correct your children. And some children, you know, you can talk to them and tell them, you know, what it is, and you don't have to use the rod. You don't have to use a belt because they'll just listen. But some children, you gonna have to. You can tell them all day, and they're gonna say, "Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir." But then they gonna go do it. You know, you ever seen that child that they old enough to like to start reaching up and pulling stuff down, and then you say, "Hey, don't pull that down." They look at you like this here, and they reach their hand up like, "I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. You better not do it. You better not do it." And they pull it down. They was challenging, and then you gave them that little pop pop. You know, after a while, you know, them little pop pops ain't gonna hurt no more. Now you're gonna need, you know, something a little stronger than a little pop pop. You know, you're gonna need a belt. You know, in hopes of correcting that behavior. All right. Um, Proverbs 22 and 15. It's pretty much saying the same thing. Go ahead. Proverbs 22 and 15. Yeah. You gotta be a little speedy, huh? Come on.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 22 and 15. Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction shall drive it far from him.
All right. Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child. You know, a child just living free. You know, doing his thing. You know, a child don't know right from wrong with some things. They just do it. If it piques their interest, they gonna explore it. But then when it says, but the rod of correction shall drive it far from them. So if they doing something they ain't supposed to do, you get them for it. You tag them for it, in hopes of you know, you driving that behavior or that want to do it out of their minds. Now you can't, you know, with some, like I say, with some kids, you know, like you can give them a pop pop, but some of them you got to jump off the top rope just to get them to understand. All right. Proverbs 23 and 13.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 23, verse 13. Withhold not correction from the child, for if thou beatest him with the rod, he shall not die.
Now, CPS and, some state ordinances, advise you or tell you not to spank or whoop your child. You know what I'm saying, these days. But the Bible says that withhold not correction from the child, whether it be verbal or physical.
Right.
Because what happens if you withhold that?
He'll get it somewhere down the line, just probably worse.
You got your hand raised? Oh, okay. So what would happen to you if your mama told you to do something you didn't do it? Malaya. What would happen? Just she having flashbacks right now. All right, it says withhold not correction from the child, for if thou beatest him with the rod, he shall not die. So yeah, you give them that good whooping, they ain't gonna die. I had plenty of them. Look at me now. Look, I'm good. Go ahead, sir.
Even deeper thought about that is you give them the whooping and they won't die in the world. You know what I'm saying? They won't die
Right,
outside,
right.
out here in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
the rod of correction is something that's gonna protect them from the evil and wickedness of the things that are around them. Not just, you know what I'm saying, the pain from the whooping, but the pain that the world can give you if you don't get that correction soon.
Right. And what you're saying is heavy because, like I was saying earlier, when I was talking to some of my old classmates, and they say they wouldn't raise their child how they was raised. You know what I'm saying? Because they just got beat. They got severe beatings. But you're alive today, and now you're a degree professional. You don't have a record. You got a passport. People that don't take correction. You know what I'm saying? They don't have passports. You got to be an upstanding citizen to get a passport. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, they got, the people that didn't get corrected, they got spin numbers and commissary. All they can hope for is, they get out, they become a truck driver or something like that. Which, can be decent money. You know what I'm saying? But just getting out and, cleaning yourself up and trying to go get a regular job is not happening. All right? So like he said, like you saving yourself from the beating that the world will give you. You're saving yourself from the beating that the law is gonna give you. Because, you was never corrected on stuff, so you just got away with everything. All right? Now give me Hebrews 12. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 11.
This is the book of
If you got any
Hebrews.
questions or you want to ask something, citizen, please do. All right. Go ahead.
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 12, verse 11. Now, no chastening for the present seemeth to be joyous, but grievous. Nevertheless, afterward it yielded the peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them which are exercised thereby.
So if you don't get chastened for the present, it seems to be joyous. If you don't get corrected for something, yeah, I'm good. I got away with it. But it's grievous because it hurts you in the long run. Just like what's that? Ecclesiastes 8 and 11, when it says don't no I'm gonna paraphrase it. Because sentence is not executed speedily, therefore, you do evil. Is inclined to you to do evil because you didn't get corrected right then. But most people that most criminals, they don't get caught for the deed that they did like right then. Most people that done rob banks and rob people and murder, they don't get caught right then and go to jail for it. They get jammed up on a license plate light being out, or red light, or speed limit. They don't get jammed up for the actual big deed, but then once they get jammed up for that little license plate light being out, and to me personally, that's like one of the weakest tickets to ever get. You know what I'm saying? Then they run their name like, oh yeah, man, we got a warrant out for you. We got your fingerprints for this and that. Oh yeah, you done got a 2 or 3 bodies that we've been trying to solve. Now you in jail. You know what I'm saying? So read that one more time.
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 12, verse 11. Now no chastening for the present seemeth to be joyous, but grievous. Nevertheless, after it yielded the peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them which are exercised thereby.
All right. Nevertheless, afterwards, it yieldeth the peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them which were exercised. So when you chasteneth, when you get chastened, later on, it reveals that peaceable fruit. Now you don't get in trouble. Now you know what to look for. Now you know what to stay away from. You know what I'm saying? And it saves you a whole lot of trouble. It saves you saves your family a whole lot of bail money. It saves you a whole lot of embarrassment on social media. It saves you a lot of trouble if you get chastened. You know what I'm saying? The scriptures say, the Lord say He chastened who He loves. So if you don't love your children, if you don't chasten your children, that means you don't love your children. If you don't correct her, that means you don't love her. All right. Proverbs 19 and 18.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 19, verse 18. Chasten thy son while there is hope, and let not thy soul spare for his crying.
All right, it says, chasten thy son while there is hope. Like get on his roll or get on her roll while they still have a chance to be corrected. You know what I'm saying? Because once, like Officer Tyson I said, once they get older, it's a little bit too late. You know what I'm saying? Because he said from ages 1 to 5. You know what I'm saying? That's the level, lovely, bubbly. From 5 to 10, they starting to talk now. But this whole time they mind is a tape recorder. They soaking in everything. And from 10 on up, that's when identity comes in. They're trying to figure out who they are and which way they're going. So if you don't step in from 1 to 5 and then 5 to 10, so when they get to 10 to 15, from what's that, 5th grade, middle school, leading up to high school, if they don't know what they are and what they want to do by then, it's a dangerous street. Read that one more time for me, Baba Shah. I got it. It says, chasten thy son while there is hope, and let not thy soul spare for his crying. So, if you whooping your child and they just screaming bloody murder, don't try to take it like I think I'm hurting them too bad, or I'm thinking I'm doing it. Don't do that, because sometimes, some kids, they taking it. I've done it before. I done screamed bloody murder knowing they ain't hit me that hard. I'm just hoping they stop. And then when they stop, I'm like, hey, I got the best of them. I just finessed my mom and my dad. You know what I'm saying? So you don't wanna spare for their crime. Cause like I say, they won't die. It ain't like you got a gun in they gun to their head and trying to like really unalive them. All right. Proverbs 13 and 24. Oh, and then just to add about this being like training up a child early. I've seen videos of of kids in single parent homes to where like I was saying earlier, like the kid is the parent's best friend. And I saw this one video. Little dude had to be like 2, 3 years old, but he talking real tough. Shut up, blah 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 blah. He slapping people and walking all gangster. And then the mama, she recording and just laughing like, oh, that's so cute, boy. What you say? Trying to go viral and get likes for it. But guess what's gonna happen to that kid when he already used to talking like that at a certain age. But then when she try to put her foot down like, nah, don't stop doing that. I'm your mama, boy. He ain't gonna care. Cause like I say, I tested my mama before. Tried to buck the system, quickly humbled. Tried my daddy too. You know what I'm saying? Cause like when you in high school, you know what I'm saying? Like you in shape, you think you the strongest thing ever. And you gonna buck the system cause you think, oh, my daddy, oh, he ain't. Then you find out what old man strength mean. You know what I'm saying? But I got it early and often. But you know what I'm saying? But it was very well needed. All right. Proverbs 19 and 18. No, we just finished. I mean, 13 and 24. It's lucky. You got an apocrypha? Okay, that's what.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 13, verse 24. He that spared his rod hated his son.
What happened?
He that spared his rod hated his son.
He that spareth his rod hateth his son. So if you don't like beating your child or whooping your child or spanking your child or giving them pop-pops, you hate them. You don't want to see them be better. You want to see them tossed to the wolves. Go ahead.
But he that loveth him chasteth him betimes.
But he that loveth him chasteneth him betimes. What does betimes mean?
Every time.
Every time? What about early?
Right. Before
Like-
times.
Like when he, soon as he balances himself to stand up and get the pep around the house, yeah, I think it's time. All right, it's time to do some type of correction. Cause like I say, like when you potty training, they sitting on that pot for an hour after they done peed on themselves already. So you know they bladder empty. They ain't got to go nowhere. But you sit them on that pot, and you don't let them up till they go again. Then you say, "Good job. Now you can get up." So now you training them. Okay, when I gotta pee, I better go here. So when you chasten your child early, that's when you're supposed to do it. So when they start thinking about doing wrong, or when they start thinking about the punishments or the chastening that they've gotten already or about to get, they'll turn from it. All right. Same way with us. You know what I'm saying? We in the truth now. So some of the law, statutes, commandments that we didn't know or ignored when we were in the world, now that we take serious because we know the Lord will chasten us. Now we doing like when we think about, man, I'm low on money, but I can go hit this lick right quick. Nah, I ain't hitting no lick, man. We just gonna lean on this brotherhood right quick. You know what I'm saying? Just thank the Lord for my daily bread. Cause what's most grown people's excuse when they do a crime and they get caught for it? I'm just trying to feed my family. I'm just trying to put diapers on my baby.
Right.
You can't fault them for that. Not for wanting to, provide for their family, put diapers on their baby and feed their children, their family. But the way of doing it is the problem. All right. Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha. Chapter 30. I'm almost done, sis. Ecclesiasticus chapter 30, and start at verse 9.
This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 30, verse 9. Conquer thy child, and he shall make thee afraid. Play with him, and he will bring thee to heaviness.
All right. What does conquer thy child mean? Pretty much like what I was saying, like making your child your best friend. Just treating them like they're equal. But that's a hierarchy in the family. You know what I'm saying? But your child got the same say so as you in the house, or opinion as you in the house. So it says, conquer thy child, and he shall make thee afraid. Like I say, that child that you done play best friend all this time. Now they get older, and they want to buck the system. And your son done grew up to be 6 foot in the 10th grade, and you 5'5". He playing football, and then he bucked the system, and you try to put your foot down like, no, you ain't gonna do that. He flex up. That's gonna make you afraid. Because you're going to try to run up in face, I'm your mama, boy, blah, 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 blah. And he push you back. And he push you harder until you're like, whoa, you got some strength on you. You know what I'm saying? So now, that's going to make you afraid to even try to correct him again. And it says, play with him, and he will bring thee to heaviness. You're going to be feeling real bad. You know what I'm saying? You keep, playing with him, like that. All right, it should be a level of where your child can go with you.
Right.
Yeah, it should be a boundary. I know, of course, that's your daughter, and y'all play around and joke, and but it's a limit to like, hey, girl, hey, hold on now, I ain't your friend at school, I ain't Shay. Watch your tone, watch your eyes, watch all that, cause I'm not her, cause I still come across your head like that. All right. Keep going.
Verse 10. Laugh not with him, lest thou have sorrow with him, and lest thou gnash thy teeth in the end.
Yeah, don't think everything that they do is funny. Don't think everything that everything is fun and games. All right. Go ahead, keep going.
Verse 11. Give him no liberty in his youth, and wink not at his follies.
Yeah, don't give him no liberty in his youth. Like, don't let him slide for nothing. Don't let them slide for nothing. Because if you let one thing go, get you ain't say nothing the last time when I did it, so I'll do it again. Why you doing this now? Oh, is it because such and such here? Or is it because this? Oh, you ain't say nothing the last time. Now you got a problem. Now they talking back to you. They challenging your authority. Go ahead.
Verse 12. Bow down his neck while he is young, and beat him on the sides while he is a child, lest he wax stubborn and be disobedient unto thee,
Okay.
and so bring sorrow to thine heart.
All right. So bow down his neck while he is young, because it's easier to train a puppy versus a grown dog. Where they say an old dog don't learn new tricks. Same thing with humans. Like you've been living your life so long doing this and doing that, to where when you try to correct me from it, I'm not trying to hear it. All right. We can drop that because I'm about to end the class. 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 14. Second Timothy 3, verse 14.
3 verse 14?
God.
Gotcha. This is the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 3, verse 14. But continue thou in the things which thou hast learned and hast been assured of, knowing of whom thou hast learned them.
All right. Continue thou in the things which thou hast learned and has been assured of. So everything that you've been learning, hearing this truth, like, continue in that. So when you start teaching your children, they're going to continue in the same thing. And the same things that you learn about the truth, you start teaching the truth to your children, they're gonna do the same thing. They're gonna know the same things that you know. All right, go ahead.
Verse 15. And that from a child thou hast known the holy scriptures, which are able to make thee wise unto salvation through faith which is in Christ, in YAHANNA.
So when you stick to that, from what you learn from a child, what I'm saying, and that from a child thou hast known the holy scripture. So from a child you've known the truth. You done taught your kids the truth. All right. So that makes you wise in the salvation under Christ. You know what I'm saying? That makes you what Christ is looking for. That makes you what the Most High is looking for, a righteous person. So when you do that, you know what I'm saying, you grow your family. Then you grow people. You grow your people. You grow your zone. Then you grow the nation. All right? Drop that and give me Proverbs 13 and 22. We almost done. No, Salaki. Titus. All right, actually, I can end it right there. We got the gist of everything today. To train up your child in the way that he should go. You know what I'm saying? That'll make it better for you, them, and the nation. You know what I'm saying? That'll definitely please the Lord. All right. With that, pay your tithes to the men of the Lord. You know, at ISUPK.com. The brother's gonna read the security announcements in a second, but if you're in Houston, we have a feast day coming up, Sunday, May 31st. The address to the school is 7701 Belford Street, Houston, Texas, 77061. So if you're a black, Hispanic, or so-called Native American, Native Indian, you are definitely welcome, you know, to come celebrate and observe one of the Lord's high holy days that are written in the Bible versus, you know, the things that were man-made and passed down through false doctrine by our oppressors. All right? And with that, I'm going to pass the class over to Precinct Officer Katazab for the security announcements. You don't have to.
We are the I.S.U.P.K, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers 18 and 21, Malachi 3, 8 through 10, means tenth in the Hebrew, Masharah. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to Treasury Department or teacher, priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you will like. Upcoming holy convocations. The Feast of First Fruits. Sunday.
Sunday, May 31st.
Sunday, May 31st, 2026. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, to start wearing all black boots, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf. And this is the security announcements.
All right, with that, Imagine, we'll give a courteous salute to the brothers and the sisters. Men of Israel, Imagine Shabbat, Imagine, Barak, Yahweh Shem Yahushua Barakatah, Yadimata, Saw, face the sisters, Ismail. All right, men of Israel, Imagine Shabbat, Imagine, Barak, Yahweh Shemal Atah Ba'Shem Yahushua. Yahweh. 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 Good job. Dismiss.